Do you wish you had the power to get any man you wanted to think about you obsessively? Does it feel like if you were to just be able to get the guy you actually like to think about you, everything would be so much easier? Today, I'll share with you 7 fantastic ways you can literally force a man to think about you all the time, to the point where you're wondering how you're going to get rid of him. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here or present so I know you're here present and actively participating with me and everyone else. Okay, welcome on this beautiful Tuesday or Wednesday. For some of you, it might be Wednesday. Glad to see all you beautiful people. I see we got Scotty here, we got Lishi here, SH is here. Of course, we got Melina over in the YouTube chat, Missy America holding down the YouTube chat. We got Angela as well over in the YouTube chat. Welcome all of you beautiful people. Okay. See Bernadette over in the TikTok. We got Lily, Ivy, Kayla, Sharice is here. Of course, Diana, LB. Welcome to all you beautiful people. Let's get started. Okay. How to force men to think of you all the time, 24/7. Okay. So first, we have mystery. Now, we need to establish a couple of things when we're going to talk about mystery, okay? Because mystery is going to be the key to unlocking everything that we're trying to do here in order to force this man to think of you. I need you to grasp the concept. Mystery is amazing, and it works in mysterious ways. And it'll help you in a lot of ways that you might not even realize. Okay, now, just like with anything else that we talk about on this show, it's about balance. Okay, mystery is not about making someone feel like you're uninterested in them. Mystery is also not about, being so out of it and taking such a step back that someone doesn't even realize that you're into them enough for there to be a possibility of them getting you or gaining access to you. You understand what I'm saying? There's a balance there. It's also not about being in someone's face and being too obvious in your trying to be mysterious, because then they'll just be like, what are you doing? This is weird. Okay. So there's a balance there where you can be mysterious, just mysterious enough that it keeps them on the hunt. We always talk about chasing. It keeps them on the hunt to continue chasing after you, to continue desiring you. But there needs to be a process and a balance to that where you give them just enough for there to be just enough intrigue in order for them to keep looking for the answers to the mystery. Okay. There's a reason why in all of your favorite, mystery movies or, mystery books, whatever you want to call it, right? There's a mystery, and then there's a larger mystery. And then as the larger mystery is getting figured out and you're getting closer and closer to unlocking the larger mystery, there's always smaller and smaller clues along the way so that you feel like you're actually moving in the right direction. Okay. If your favorite mystery novel only ever had, okay, well, we have this unalived mystery from these high school students, and we got to figure out which one of the high school students did it. Okay, if they just skipped right from the mystery right into the answer to the question, well, you wouldn't have much of a book. You wouldn't have any book, actually. And you wouldn't have an interesting one at that, even if you were to do it that way. Because part of what makes the mystery interesting is how each individual clue leading up to the mystery makes you feel like you're just about to be there. You're just about to figure it out. And then you realize, oh no, it wasn't this. The answer was actually that. And then you go in this direction, right? And that's part of the game. Life's a game, guys. If you don't want to feel, relationship shouldn't be life's a game. Okay. You can either play it, you can join the Players Club and you can play it, or you can choose to sit back and allow the game to be played on you. The choice is yours. Doesn't bother me either way. So as it relates to mystery, it's very important to understand that there is a balance. I need to say that because sometimes when I say mystery, some of you guys want to take it to one extreme or the other. And then you wonder why the guy is uninterested in you or just, stops caring, because there's mystery, and then there's just, making someone feel like you don't care about them or you're uninterested in them. Okay. So when we're talking about forcing a man to think of you all the time, let's get specific with the type of mystery you're going to be giving him that's going to make him think about you all the time. So let's imagine you meet a guy at an event. Okay. And you meet a guy at this event, you guys are chit-chatting, you've never met before, no mutual friends or anything. You're chit-chatting, having a good conversation's flowing and going. You're getting to know each other a little bit, asking each other questions. This is not when you're implanting the mystery, okay? So you don't do the mystery by saying, I'm not going to tell you anything about myself. I'm not going to say anything about who I am or what my name. That's not mystery, okay? That's not what I'm discussing. Mystery would be after you meet that guy at that event, he's like, oh, I would love to see you more, talk to you, go out on a date with you, go out on a little dinner date with you, whatever, right? And you're like, cool, sure, that's fine. Maybe you like the guy, you think he's cool, you're down to go on this dinner date. So the next day he texts you, okay? Now I know you're going to say, but that's a game, this is a game. Do you want him to think about you all the time or no? Which one is it? Because if you want him to think about you all the time, I can give you techniques, but it might feel like a game to you. It's not going to be, roll around in the grass and he's going to think, like, let's be for real, okay? Like, they're going to have some techniques here. Now, I say that to say, let's say he does text you after you guys meet at this event and he tells you that, hey, I loved meeting you yesterday. I would love to take you out on a nice dinner date. Or when are you free? Or, would you be down for that, right? And he texts you, I want you, this is an example of mystery in the right way, okay? I want you, he's going to text you the next day. I want you to wait the entire day, okay? So if he texts you the next morning or the next afternoon, I want you to wait 24 hours, okay? I know this is going to sound extreme, but I want you to wait 24 hours, and then I want you to text him back and then express your excitement to actually go out on the date and then let him know when you're free. Okay? Now, I know some of you might be like 24 hours? Why would I do that to someone that I like? Why would I do that? That's playing a game. He's gonna lose interest. He's not gonna want to text me back. Take a chill pill, okay? I want you to understand, when someone is truly interested and invested in you, okay, 24 hours is not going to kill their interest. I need you to grasp that concept, because I know some of you have like a lot of anxiety, and then you have even more anxiety when it comes to a guy that you like. And that's the problem. I know a lot of you, right? I don't know you, but I know a lot of you are not ugly women, okay? You're attractive women, which means you can be attractive to men. Okay. So if you're not doing a good job of getting that man into you and pursuing you, all it's about is changing and adjusting your approach. And the problem with your approach is, yes, you're an attractive woman, but when you like a guy, your approach changes and becomes a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Off-putting and unattractive, which makes him less attracted to you, which makes him chase you less, which gets you all the things that you don't want, okay? And what I'm trying to do is trying to help you understand how your approach might change when you like a guy, that you can purposely approach the situation in the relationship with the mindset or from the perspective of if you were to not like him, right? Because when you don't like the guy, that's the time when he likes you the most. So if you were to treat the guys that you do like you didn't like them, you get a similar result, right? You'd get them chasing after you. Okay, stay with me. So when I talk about mystery, let's say you don't message him for 24 hours, but when you do message him, remember, I told you mystery is about balance. So it's not about not texting him back for 24 hours. Then when you do text him back, you say, my bad, I was in the bathroom for 24 hours, right? That will communicate to him that you're actually uninterested in him and you don't actually want to go out on this date. When you text him back, right? You can even apologize for, oh, hey, sorry, I was doing this all yesterday and I was super tired, but I would love to go out on this date, right? and say, I would love to see you in person. I would love to get to know you more. I had a really good conversation with you, right? Express your excitement to go out on this date, and that you feel the same way that he does. You want to know why you do that, right? Because remember, I talked about mystery is not just all about having no answers or no clues, right? You have to leave clues and breadcrumbs as a way of allowing someone to feel motivated to take the next step. And the best part about mystery and everything you're trying to do here, when you want men to think about you all the time, you're not just trying to elicit positive emotions out of him, okay? I'll be the first to tell you, if a guy only feels positive emotions when he thinks about you or in experiences with you, it doesn't contrast itself in the same way that will make you in his mind all encompassing, right? Something that he just can't get his brain off of. When you want a guy to be thinking about you all the time, he actually in his own mind has to be going back and forth with himself about what you feel, where you stand in the relationship, what you want, right? He's got to be arguing with himself, trying to figure out what it is this relationship is, what it is things stand at, right? He's got to be trying to convince himself and argue with himself and tell, no, it's this and no, it's that, right? So he's got to be feeling positive and negative emotions about you and the situations he goes through with you, right? And when I say negative, I just mean anxiety, right? Being anxious, being scared, waiting for the possibilities, right? Maybe being a little bit annoyed or frustrated that you're not texting him back in 35 seconds or that you always have something to do, right? Those would be considered quote unquote negative emotions, even though I don't think any emotion is negative, but what we would consider a negative emotion, right? You don't just want him to think of you and feel happiness and joy and, all good emotions. Why? Because what happens is if he's only feeling happiness and joy and all these positive emotions when he thinks of you, there's nothing to balance things out. Okay. So you can't experience joy unless you experience sadness, or else you won't even understand what the joy feels like. So if he's only experiencing joy with you, he'll be like this all the time. And if he's like this all the time, there's no reason for him to go back and forth in his mind about you, to think, well, what does this mean? And what does that mean? What did she mean when she said that? Does she not like me anymore? Is she not into me anymore? Is she too, like, what's going on? Why isn't she texting me back? Why isn't she calling? Why isn't she? All of the type of things that you think about the guys that you like when you really like a guy, right? And all the ideas you put in your head, all the situations you go through, all the back and forth that you say in your own mind when you like a guy and you're interested in a guy and you feel like, oh my God, I don't know where he stands. I don't know what he thinks. I don't know what he wants. What does this mean? What does that mean? And you're analyzing every single little minute, small little thing to try and get what? You're trying to get clues to understand what it is he's about, what it is he wants, if he even wants you, right? Because you're trying to solve the mystery. Do you see how this works? This has been happening to you with the guys that you like. Maybe you didn't realize how it was happening. I'm here to explain it to you, how it's happening, that you can actually elicit this response from even the guys that you like. And remember, the guys are naturally they're naturally made to want to pursue you, right? The girls that they like, they're naturally going to want to pursue them, chase after them, if you want to call it. Some people get so discombobulated about the idea of chasing, right? They're going to want to pursue you, go after you to get you, okay? Because they want you that badly. So that's already natural to him. So as you create that mystery, all it does is fit the already existing narrative and approach that he wants to take as a man, which is, I want you, I need you in my life, I need to make you my woman, I'm going to do the things necessary to make you my woman, whatever that is, right? You're putting him in a position that is already natural to him, which is a good thing. That's why you want that mystery there, okay? You want that mystery there as a way to and you want the mystery there in combination with the clues that you can set up that will keep him motivated to chasing after you. Are you guys following me so far? Okay. That mystery is vitally important. important. If you don't have mystery, right, there won't be any reason to think about you, right? Part of the reason, remember I said, part of the reason he's thinking about you is not just because you make him feel joy and happiness 24/7, because he can't ever know what joy and happiness feels like if he doesn't have the anxiety, the sadness, or the frustration. Okay, so you actually want to be eliciting some of those other responses like anxiety, frustration, that will have him going back and forth in his mind. What does she think? What does she want? What does she feel? Why does she do this? Why does she do that? And he'll be analyzing every single one of your moves, your words, your body language, because he'll constantly be trying to find clues to solve his mystery of, does she like me or does she not? Does she want to be with me or does she not? Does she want this relationship or does she not? Right? That's his mystery that he's going to constantly be trying to solve. So everything that you're doing from here on out has to be toting the line of, oh, it's this, but no, it's that, but no, it's this, but no, it's that. Okay. And you see why I told you it's a balance. Because if you give him all of no, it's she doesn't want me, she doesn't want to be with me, right? And all of your clues point to that angle, right? Then he's going to say to himself, "Oh, well, that's the answer. That's the answer to the mystery, right? She doesn't want me, she doesn't want to be with me." So there's no more debate to have with myself. There's no more analyzing that I'd need to do with her actions or her words or her body language. I know that the answer is that she does not want to be with me. So I don't have to figure out any more clues. Vice versa, if he gets too much of, oh, the answer to the mystery is that she definitely wants to be with me. She doesn't think about anyone else. She doesn't want anyone else. It's all about me. She worships me. You know, she won't look at anyone else but me, right? Especially at the beginning, he stops thinking about you the same way because he has all the answers he needs to his mystery. There's no need to search for all the different clues. There's no need to analyze a whole bunch of body language. There's no need to hang on to every single word. Think about this. I want to ask you guys a question in the live stream chat, and I want you guys to tell me if this is true or not. Have you ever been in a relationship or a situationship where you were trying so desperately to figure out you were trying to solve the mystery of, does this guy like me and actually want to be with me, that you found yourself hanging on to every single word that he says, every single text that he sends? You're analyzing every single little thing, trying to figure out, does this guy like me for real? And does he want me for real? Or is this all fake? Right? Tell me if you've ever been in a scenario like that, or maybe it's never happened to you. Maybe I'm just confused. Okay. Where it's like every single little thing you're trying to grasp every straw. You're just trying to find a clue, and you're like, every clue you're just like, oh, but he said this and that must mean that, because you're trying to put everything two and two together. You're trying to take this clue from 3 months ago, from 2 years ago, and you're trying to implement into how it fits into this clue. And then you're analyzing this situation. You're looking on his Instagram and trying to analyze stuff with how he approached you and how he said this to you and how this matches up with this and that and this and that. And you're just you're going insane. Okay. But you're going insane. And what's happening? You're thinking about him more. And you're thinking about him more, and you're thinking about him more. Okay. I see someone said it's so exhausting. Nafasimi says it's so exhausting. Zay says yes. Sky says that's so true. I was always straightforward. I didn't leave a mystery because I don't like games. Okay. I'm glad that you said that, actually. Sky, right? It's amazing, because those of us that don't like games and are like, oh, I want to go into my relationships, I'm not going to play games because I just want to be straightforward and honest, and that's what people deserve, is my honesty and being straightforward. I'll just let them know exactly how it feels. That sounds cool and great in theory. It sounds good in a movie about a utopia on Earth. The reality is, though, we don't live in that utopia. And if you're too straightforward with people, especially the people that you like, and you are like, oh, well, I'm not going to play any games, I'm just going to be blunt about it, tell you exactly how it is, especially as a woman, what's going to happen is those men are going to lose interest, because the desire is not there, because the mystery is not there. They don't get to be able to put their attention on pursuing you, trying to figure out more about you, trying to get you into their it's a vicious cycle. Like, I want you to understand, right? Queen says, what's a utopia? A utopia, like UTIOPA, right? UTOPIA. Utopia. Yeah, utopia. Someone spell it out in the chat for her. Okay, you can search it on Google. Search the definition. Okay, a utopia just means a perfect world. Okay, so and the reason I say that is because you have to understand what's ingrained in us as human beings, right? Is that desire to figure things out, right? And how our attention will always go to the thing that we can't quite figure out or understand, as opposed to the thing that is straightforward and obvious, okay? I want you to imagine a scenario in which let's say I asked you guys this before, but let's say in this hand I have my Aquaphor chapstick, and let's just say for the sake of argument, in this hand I had a huge large box. Let's just imagine this was a huge large box, a black box, and it's got 10 locks on the box, okay? You got a huge large box in my other hand, and I ask you if you had to guess, right? I'll say, I got this in my hand, this Aquaphor stick, and I've got an item sitting inside this huge black box. Which item, if you had to guess, I forced you to make a guess, which item do you think is more valuable? The Aquaphor stick that's sitting in my hand right in front of you, or whatever is sitting inside this huge black box with a whole bunch of shiny silver locks on it? Which one would you guess was more valuable? Okay, I see some people saying in the box, right? What's the stick? It's an Aquaphor stick, like a chapstick, like chapstick, just out of Aquaphor. Okay, it's literally chapstick, right? SH says, what if the box is empty? You can't see into the box. The box is a huge, big black box with a whole bunch of locks on it. You can't see into the box. So you have no idea what's in the box, okay? And I ask you, what do you think is more valuable? Right? Naturally, of course, like everyone's saying in the chat, right? The box, I would think that the box is more valuable, right? And the crazy part about this box in my hand is that the item that's actually sitting in the box could be even less valuable than this chapstick. I could have a penny sitting in the box. I could have a piece of lint sitting in the box. I could have a piece of my hair, my DNA sitting in the box. Don't think of it in a weird way, okay? Sitting in the box. Something that is completely useless to you, that you don't care about and that doesn't matter, okay? But the point is that your idea of value is based on your perception that value will be hidden behind mystery, right? And the intrigue that you have of feeling like there must be something valuable if it's sitting behind this huge black box is what's actually going to make you feel like what's in here is so valuable that it's even more valuable than anything I could offer you in this. Okay, and that example reigns true even if I were to have $5,000 in my hand, okay? Right? And I've given that example before on my TikTok. Even if I had $5,000 in my hand instead of this Aquaphor stick, while some of you might say to yourself, yeah, you know, it would be smarter for me to take the $5,000, right? The simple fact that in the other hand, there's a huge black box will be so intriguing because what happens? The mystery, you can project anything you want onto the mystery, right? That's the amazing part about the mystery, is that you don't know what's truly in here. You don't know what truly exists, right? In this black box. You don't know you don't know if it's valuable. You don't know if it's valueless. But the intrigue will have you spending more time thinking about what could be or is not inside the black box than you'll ever think about what's readily available to you right in front of my hand, okay? Even if I had $5,000 in this hand and the huge black box in the other hand, right? The thoughts in your mind would not be, hey, that $5,000 looks so good. The thoughts in your mind would be actually calculating what are the chances that whatever's inside that black box is more valuable than the $5,000. And the entire time you spend debating or thinking about the decision you're going to make, it's really going to be about trying to decide, is the black box going to be more valuable than the $5,000? It's not going to be about the possibilities of the $5,000, okay? And I say all that to say mystery can be such a powerful thing when you use it correctly, right? When you use it correctly and also lay down clues that allow the mystery to continue being interesting enough to continue to pursue the answer to your question. The same way how we just talked about earlier, when we're talking about vice versa, when you're in a situation where, when you're in a situation where you're literally like fiending, hanging on every single little text, just going over everything he said. Oh my God. So he said he is busy. But does he mean he's busy as in he doesn't want to hang out with me? Or does he mean he's busy as if he's got a work thing? Or is he busy as in he's got a friend thing? Oh, he's busy with friends? What kind of friends? Is he busy with a girlfriend? Or like a friend? Or like a platonic friend? Or like a girl he slept with friend type of friend that's not really a friend anymore, but they're kind of romantic, but they kind of do a thing where they pretend to be friends. And you're just like, it's like 3 words, right? It's like 3 words. And you're sitting here trying to interpret what he meant by saying those 3 words. Okay. And it's the same addiction that you feel when you're trying to figure out, what does he feel? What does he want? What does he think? What is he? Well, what is this? What is that? Why did he act like that? Why did his left eye twitch 3 times? Does that mean that he's lying? Does that mean that he hates me? Does that mean that he's trying to play me? Does that mean that he has a girlfriend? And you'll just be going insane. But you can elicit that same emotion out of other men if you just hold your water and keep the mystery going just enough that he continues to want to know the answers to more and more things. So in the example I gave you of you meeting a guy at an event and then he texts you the next day because he's super excited, you guys had a great conversation, and you wait 24 hours to message him, right? During that time that you don't message him back, he's going to be thinking to himself, put yourself in his shoes. He's going to be thinking to himself, oh my God, she's not into me. She doesn't like me. Or maybe she gave me the wrong number. And then he's going to be saying to himself, oh, I'm such an idiot. She gave me the wrong number. And the whole time I thought she was into me, but the whole time she really wasn't into me. She was really just placating me, and just because it was an event, and probably just because we were at the same event, she was probably bored. She probably just talked to me just because I was the only person there talking to her. And I probably was just acting like a complete idiot, just continued yapping. And she probably wasn't even listening. And then he'll start analyzing everything that happened in that event when you guys were talking. He'll think, oh, and when I was saying this about my mom or my brother, she started looking away, and oh my God, I'm so stupid. I started talking about my brother and she clearly wasn't even interested. Bro, you're so dumb. She doesn't even care. This is all happening in the process of the 24 hours that you don't text him back. All of that anxiety is building, right? All of his thoughts are going towards, oh my God, I need to figure out this. And he's debating himself, right? Over analyzing everything that went on in that one single event. And all of a sudden, you've turned the process of meeting you from a 30-minute, meet and greet or, just conversation, and you've turned it into like a 12-hour thing. Actually, you've turned it technically into a 24-hour thing, right? Because every moment that's passing by that you don't text him back, he's going to be thinking, going back with this and going back with that. And so what is he thinking? He's reminiscing back on the time of meeting you. He's reminiscing on what it felt like, what you smelled like, where your eyes went, what you talked about. He's reminiscing on everything. And so all of that time, he's replaying meeting you over and over again. So all of a sudden, that meet, right, that introduction that only lasted 30 minutes feels like it lasted 12 hours, right? Or in this case, it feels like it lasted 24 hours, because all of that anxiety, let's just say the anxiety started from when he actually texted you, right? All of that anxiety that built up from texting you and not getting a response back is making him reminisce on the situation more and more and more, and trying to figure out, okay, what does she want? What does she think? What is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? Right? And all of that leads to the mystery. Okay. For those of you say that it's glitching a lot on TikTok, just head over to YouTube, because for some reason on YouTube, they never seem to have any glitches. YouTube just be going like easy as hell. Okay. So keep that in mind. The mystery is so important. You do not want to be in a situation where you give a guy no mystery. Because remember, even in the example I gave you, as soon as you text this guy back, right, the moment you text him back, what's going to happen? He's going to after all of that anxiety, he's down in the dumps, he's low like this, he's going to be like, damn, what did I do? What did I say? Right? And you text him back, he's going to be like, oh my God. Oh my God. She texted me back. Like, and all of his anxiety is going to be relieved in a moment's notice, right? Because you just texted him back and all you did was text him back. But it feels much bigger and it feels much more important and it feels much more just large and impactful, even though all you did was meet him and talk to him for 30 minutes. And now you texted him after 24 hours later after meeting him. But all of that roller coaster of emotions that he went through up until the point that you actually that you actually texted him back is made him think about you this entire time, as opposed to you being so excited and ecstatic that, you finally met a guy that you like. And let's say before he even gets the chance to reach out to you the next day, you're the one texting him saying, hey, I loved yesterday. I just want you to let you know that I really loved talking to you yesterday and all this good stuff, right? Like by the time he even wakes up in the morning, you've already texted him that because you're so excited to meet him and you're so happy about meeting him, right? And what's going to happen? The opposite of mystery. So as soon as he wakes up and he sees your text, yeah, he'll feel good that you liked him and that you were into him. But what also happens is he spent 24 less hours reminiscing on you and the situation. He might think about how good it was for a little bit, but after a while, he'll be like, cool, that was cool. I know she likes me. I know she's into me. I don't really have anything in my mind to debate about. You understand? Joining the Players Club is understanding how you can manipulate positive and negative emotions and how both of those work in your favor. Okay. It's not just about getting people to love you and like you all the time. It's also being strategic about when to give, as crazy as it sounds. It's also about being strategic about knowing when to give people anxiety, knowing when to detach yourself from people, knowing when to take a step back, that people will begin to feel their own individual anxiety about you and towards you and come chasing after you, especially for you as the woman. That's already going to be natural to most of the men that you meet. Well, the heterosexual straight men that you come across. Okay. So it's not going to be very hard for you to do the actions that elicit that particular pursuit response from men. So does that make sense to you guys so far? Let me know also in the TikTok chat if it's continuing to glitch or if you guys are better now. Okay. Very important that we understand that. So mystery was number one. How to force men to think of you all the time. Mystery was number one. Number two, we have enchantment. Okay. I want us to have a good, solid conversation about enchantment. What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. What do you guys think it means when I say enchantment? I've talked about this before, but this is probably the first time it's actually been its own subtopic in what we're discussing. Tell me what you guys think it means in the chat. What do you think it means when I talk about enchantment? What do you think that means? Okay. I want to know what you guys think that means. I see you guys saying it's better in the TikTok chat. Okay, so that's good. I'm glad. Okay. Batia says to be charmed by you. Okay. Rosie says being in awe, wowing someone. Kimba says mystery. Missy America says charm. Brenda says creating desire. Okay. Scotty says not really sure. Well, I'll explain it to you in just a second. I just want to see where you guys are at. Goddess says to attract someone. Okay, surprising someone, I see. All right. A magical experience, Rosie says. Okay, so let's, like we casted a spell on them, Melina says. Okay, let's talk about enchantment. Enchantment is everything you're trying to do here, okay? When you want a guy to think about you all the time. We talked about mystery, and mystery is great. In combination with the mystery, you want to be focused on the enchantment. Remember what you're trying to do here, okay? First of all, you're trying to get him to think about you all the time. Think about what it feels like to think about someone all the time, 24/7. Okay. Think if you've ever been in that situation, tell me, what does it feel like to think about someone 24/7 all the time? It probably feels a lot like you're under their spell, like you can't really control yourself. Like some way, shape, or form, they're in control more of your emotions and feelings and thoughts than you are even in control of your emotions and feelings and thoughts. Okay. Now, when you think of it like that, I actually want you to begin to position yourself in a place where you see yourself as the person who is casting a spell on him and enchanting him. You want to know why this is the best way to do that? Because now you can implant any thoughts or ideas in his mind that you desire, that you want him to think, that you want him to feel, and you'll be the one in control of his thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And if you're in control of his thoughts, feelings, and emotions, well, then you can control him. I know that sounds bad. I know that sounds horrible. I know that sounds manipulative. That's because it is. Okay? That's why we're here. This is called the Players Club. This isn't called the sit back and relax while life gets done to you club. This is the get what you want club. Okay? So when we're talking about enchantment, it's very important that you understand your job is not to, obviously you're trying to interview him by getting to know him and understand him and know what he's here for so that you can determine if you should even be giving your Squirtle or not to him. Okay. But you're not going there, standing up straight being like, tell me everything you've done bad in your life. Tell me everything you've done good in your life. I want to make sure I'm here for the right reason. Like you don't go into it like with a suit and tie and scare him away by interrogating him. That's not what you do. What you do when you're trying to extract information and determine where he's going to fall in line and what category he's going to be in for you, you enchant him in order to get all the information and things out of him that you desire. If you want information to make a decision, sure. If you want money, because I know some of you want money, you can do this. It's the same thing. You enchant him first. Then when you enchant him, because when you enchant him, you have control of his thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Now you can control what you receive from him. And what's going to happen is if you're doing the enchantment properly, you're going to actually make him feel like everything he's doing and saying and giving, whatever it may be, he's going to feel like those are genuine thoughts and feelings of his own, not of someone else. And because he feels like they're genuine to himself, he's going to be much more willing to give whatever it is he's giving. And he's going to be happy about giving that when he does. He's not going to feel forced to do that. He's not going to feel pressure to do that. And that's the best place you want people to be. Okay? You want them to feel like they have done it from their own free will. Pitch says, oops, I don't like this. This is, I guess you could say, the dark side to relationships. Because the truth is, if you're here with me and you feel like other people have used you and gotten what they wanted out of you without you receiving anything you wanted in return, the truth is, this has happened to you. What I'm explaining to you right now. Okay? And the truth is that if you do not learn this, understand this, and figure out how to utilize this for yourself, you will continue living your life where you continue getting it done to you. Because I promise you, I can assure you, the people who understand how to enchant will always find themselves in a relationship with someone who is easily enchanted, right? Because if I know how to enchant, and I know that you're easily enchanted because you don't bother to understand any of this, and because you don't care about any of this, and because you don't think that that's the right thing to be doing, what's going to happen? I'm going to enchant you. I'm going to control you without you realizing it. And all the things that you're doing and saying will actually be things that I implant into you. Okay? Right? So it's hard to sink in. Let's sink in. But it's the reality. Because if you feel like you've had things done to you that weren't fair, or you feel like in your relationships, other people get what they want out of you and they used you, that's what happened to you. That's what happened to you. Okay? Now, Scotty says, please leave some examples of how to enchant. I'll definitely do that for you. So, as we're discussing how to enchant a man, okay, let's all be of the understanding of what men are seeking for, what they want in the first place. Okay, so this isn't a mystery. If he's a straight heterosexual man, there's a 99.9% chance that he wants a feminine woman. This isn't mystery. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to be a feminine woman, but I'm sure you can, if you were, this is the advice I'll give you. If I were to tell you to go up to a guy and feed his ego, tell me, what are some of the things you would say or do if you wanted to go up to a guy and feed his ego? Just tell me. I want you to give me some examples of some things you would say to him, or some things you would do to him or with him or around him that you would feed his ego. Just give me some examples of stuff. You are so wise. Are you saying that you would say that to him? Okay, you're saying that you would say that to him, I think. Chat says, you're so smart. Rosie says, he's smart and good looking. He's perfect. Embry says, compliment him. Mary says, his hair looks nice. I would make him feel important, smart, and strong. Batia says, he's a very attractive guy. Flattered. Be interested in what he's saying. Please, can someone pin what Laura said? And where she said in the TikTok chat, she said, I would make him feel important, smart, and strong. Please pin that for me in the TikTok chat. Okay. So, by the way, YouTube chat, you guys got to catch up. See how TikTok chat, they're answering stuff. They're participating. You guys aren't participating as much in the YouTube chat. Okay. I see you guys. Okay. You're existing too. And there's lots of you here. So very important, right? As Laura just said, make him feel important, smart, and strong. I love that answer, right? Because if you want to feed a man's ego, right? First of all, ego is the key to all of our hearts, but especially a man. We should, if you don't already know this, right? A man's ego is the key to his heart. So when we're talking about feeding a man's ego, remember I talked to you guys yesterday about what was the topic yesterday? Yesterday we talked about why emotional women don't win. And we talked about how men will feed your ego in the way that best serves you as a woman to manipulate your emotions, right? Get you overly emotional, emotionally overwhelmed, that you'll feel so good about the relationship or think it's going so well, think that he likes you so much that you'll start speeding yourself up and doing things before you were even actually genuinely ready for them. The same way, you can feed a man's ego in a particular way that gets him interested in you. Okay. Now it's very delicate how you do this. Okay. Because you're not trying to overdo it to the point where it feels fake. And you also don't want to make him feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? You're super obsessed with him. Okay. You want to enchant him in a way that is indirect, that leaves just enough mystery as to what it is that you actually mean. So you can come up to him, for example, let's say this is a guy that you like, and you can do all the things that Laura just said, make him feel important, strong, and think smart, right? Without actually saying that, okay? The words aren't as powerful as the feeling, if that makes any sense, right? So for example, Laura said important. You can make someone feel important by asking them a lot of questions. And even when they do answer their questions, right, making sure that your body language is on point, that your reaction and response to him answering the questions is that of someone who's really interested and invested in these answers, right? So if he's telling you, if you're like, oh, so can you tell me about your last relationship? Like, how did it go? You said you dated that girl for 4 years. Like, what was that like? Like, what did you guys go through? What were some of the ups and downs? And as he's talking, just like, wow, I've never met someone who's done something like this. Wow, I didn't even realize that someone would ever go through. I don't think I've ever met someone that's went to Spain or went to this or, and as he's telling the story, you can just present yourself and your body language as being someone who's super intrigued and interested in what he's saying. What that does to him is he begins to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a whole bunch of positive feedback. You're so happy that I'm telling you more about me. I'm telling you more about my life. I'm telling you more about my experiences. What's going to happen is he's going to feel motivated to continue telling you more and more and more and saying more and more and more, right? And sharing more and more and more. And that is good for you. And the more you make him feel, this is making him feel important, right? Because you're discussing with him, or you're allowing him to tell you about him, and you're presenting yourself as being interested in everything that he's saying, that he feels important. Okay? Right? Now, remember, I said it's a feeling. So it's not so direct that you're saying you're so important that there wouldn't be any mystery to it. But it's a feeling that he can go back in his own mind and say to himself, damn, when I was talking to her, she was like really invested in the conversation and she was asking me a lot of questions. Was it because she was really into me, or maybe I'm just tripping? Right? It's just enough to give you a feeling, right? But not enough to be a total confirmation. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? Does that make sense to you guys? Ivy says it works easier with people that have unhealthy egos. Actually, I think it works with everyone. Okay. And I seen someone earlier say, this is so sad that this happens. Well, here's the truth, is that it happens. So whether or not you want to accept it as happening or accept it as the truth, it happens. And if you're moved by this, or you feel like there might be something to this, then there's a chance that there's actually something to this. If you feel like I'm just talking a whole bunch of BS, maybe I'm just an idiot. Okay. But in reality, if you want to continue ignoring this, then you're probably going to end up as frustrated as you were when you first got here. Okay? So very important, right? Enchantment is a feeling. It doesn't have to necessarily be direct actions or words that tell him, hey, I like you so much. Hey, I'm so into, right? It's a feeling. And enchantment is also about playing into that mystery, giving him feelings of, oh, she's interested in me. Oh, she likes me. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. But then also making him feel like, oh, but she's too busy for me. Oh, but she doesn't text me back. Oh, but she's cutting our dates short. Okay. Another way to enchant a man. Okay. I'll give you some advice because I know you guys want direct examples. Another great way, Angie talks about the black cat theory. I'll have a whole nother discussion in live stream show about the black cat theory from a man's perspective, because I see that's growing a lot of popularity. Okay. But when we're talking about enchantment, another great way to enchant a man, and I've said this to you guys before, you want to give him a lot of, we're going to get to quality as well. You want to give him very high quality when he spends his time with you. And you purposely want to cut that off after a period of time. What I mean by cut that off is you don't ever want to overstay your welcome. Okay. And you always want him to feel like he gets high quality versions of you, whether in conversation, in meeting you and spending time with you, right? That are so stimulating to the senses and the emotions, but it happens for such a short period of time that all he can think about when he's not with you is being with you again. That's part of the enchantment. And so a great way to enchant a man is to constantly put yourself in a position where the time he spends with you is so stimulating mentally, physically, emotionally. I don't mean mentally by using your hands, mouth, or insides. Okay. I just talk about like physically, just in a three-dimensional sense, right? It's so stimulating that he begins to long for and wish for the next time he can spend time with you. He begins to long for and wish for the next time he can speak to you, talk to you, call you, right? Hang out with you, take you out on a date. And the enchantment, it becomes like a spell cast upon him that he can't do anything but think about when he's going to be with you or see you again. Are you following so far? Are you guys following so far? Leslie says, you're right about this. I came off as obsessive and backed off a little. Now he shows much more interest. See how that works? See how that works? Right? Leah says, I like this. How do you react if he crosses your boundaries? If you have a personal question, make sure you go and ask it in the Discord if you have a personal situation. I've also answered things like that in previous live streams, so you got to check out some of my previous live streams, okay? But go up in the Discord if you have a personal situation, okay? The Discord link is in my TikTok bio on my profile, and it's in the bottom of the description as well. Okay, so as it relates to enchantment, are you guys understanding that, or do you guys have any more questions? I know that enchantment can be a little bit of a confusing one where you're kind of like, I'm not really sure what you mean still. I'm not really sure what you mean by casting a spell on him. Okay, remember I just told you guys how feeding a guy's ego is a great way, right, to get him the same way you can get him emotionally overwhelmed and stimulated, right? And you can be controlled by your emotions when a guy is boosting and feeding your ego is the same way you can do to him. Right? Deb says the Players Club Tomisin, oh my God, cut it off in the beginning, but walking through life in due time, I would think. I hope so. Okay. When should you starve his ego, Goddess says? That's a great question. My advice to you is to, right? Part of the enchantment, I'm actually glad that someone says, how long does the enchantment last? Forever. Okay. That never stops. Part of the enchantment also, remember, like I said with mystery, is never making him feel like he's getting too much of something, that the clue is all pointing in one direction. That's why I started off with mystery. Your favorite mystery novel or movie would not be interesting if all of the clues pointed in one direction and only gave one possible answer to the situation. Okay, I don't know how many of you have watched 13 Reasons Why. I think it's season 3 or 4, right, where they have the unalive mystery of one of the students at the school. Not the first season. I'm talking about the unalive mystery that happens at, I think, through season 3 or 4 at the school, where they're trying to figure out who did it. Okay, and throughout the season, right, much the same with all these other unalive mysteries, throughout the season, each episode is pointing to clues that would lead you in a different direction and make you feel like it was a different person, right? And that's the whole fun in the mystery, is having to pick up all of these clues and all of these puzzle pieces, seeing how they fit together, figuring out what the most logical and realistic answer is, and trying to get somewhere in terms of solving your problem. And the reason I give that example is enchantment is the same thing, right? You don't ever want the enchantment to be all of one clue. You don't ever want the mystery to be all of one clue, because all of one clue will only point into one direction. You want the mystery, even of the enchantment, to constantly be of, does she want to be with me or does she not? Is she into me or is she not? Why do you think we as humans created that silly little thing that we do where we pick flowers off of a stem and say, she loves me, she loves me not. 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 Because the mystery, the back and forth is so addicting. It's addicting, right? To not be sure enough to know for sure. That is what will get a man thinking of you constantly, right? That unsure feeling, right? Someone said it's a daisy. Some people use daisy. Some people use, I don't know what else people would use. Okay, right? And it just becomes addicting. That is part of the enchantment, the addiction, the spell, right? Because here's the thing. Once you have a guy that addicted to the she wants me not. She loves me not. Once you have him in that hole, it's like a spiral. Okay? Once you have him spiraling down that rabbit hole, now you can purposely feed him things and give him different clues that point in different directions. I know this sounds like manipulation. That's because it is. Okay? You can purposely give him different breadcrumbs that point him in all different directions. And then what happens? He immediately starts thinking, but this clue leads here, so it must be this. No, but this clue is saying the exact opposite thing, so it must be this. And this clue says the exact opposite thing. So, and he's just like crying. He's just like, I love her so much, but I don't know if she loves me. I don't know if she's into me. I don't know if she wants me. I don't know. Here's the thing though. When you have a guy in this spiral of I don't know, all he can focus on it, because he likes you. Remember that. He's interested in you. He wants you. So all he can focus on is trying to do things to get you to like him, that you can be giving him constant responses and clues that are in line with the fact that you like him. That way he no longer has to debate. Because the fact that there are some clues that make it clear to him that you're into him and interested in him and you want him just as much as he wants you, right, is comforting. But if it becomes too comforting, it becomes uninteresting. And the fact that there are some clues that point in the direction, well, she's so busy, she never texts me. Well, she never wants to, hang out with me for too long. She always cuts our hangout short. Well, she's really nice to me and she loves spending in-person time, but it's not like she wants to see me all the time. Every time there's another clue in the opposite direction, right, it makes it painful. It makes it frustrating. It leaves that mystery, right? And that's part of the enchantment, is that now you can decide that, hey, I want to elicit this response from him today. I want to elicit this response from him today. I want to elicit that response from him today. Okay. And because he's literally at your mercy, trying to figure out what does she want today? What does she think today? What does she feel today? Right? You're literally able to just pull every string, pull every emotion, get anything you want, get any piece of information that you want out of him. And he can't realize it because all of his attention is focused on, does she love me today or does she not? She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. Okay. And it's the back and forth. And listen, there's a balance to this, and it doesn't have to be so extreme, right? It can even happen in small doses that can still be healthy. For those of you that think, oh, well, it's unhealthy to do this to your partner. It's unhealthy to give them that back and forth. It's unhealthy to give them that uncertainty. Well, to that, I'll say, go watch my last live stream and go all the way to the end where we have a Discord discussion, and someone sends in their question about the Discord it's a woman sending in their question about a Discord. Her name was France. If you guys didn't see France's Discord question yesterday, you'll understand why too much security in a relationship where you don't feel like there's anything to concern yourself with as it relates to the other person can actually work against you. Okay? And it doesn't even have to mean that you make the person feel like you'll cheat on them or anything like that. But the idea that you feel like your partner will never leave you for any reason in any way, shape, or form can actually be dangerous. And the reason I bring up France from yesterday is because France was suffering from that, which is why she ended up cheating on her partner, telling her partner, and then her partner said, I'll still be with you anyways. And she told her partner, no, actually, I need a break. I don't even know if I actually want this relationship. And they were together for 10 years. A decade they were together. And she found a new guy that she wanted and she liked more and she felt more of a rush with. She cheated on him with that guy, right? And she said that she even knew that guy didn't want a relationship. She knew that guy was a player. She knew that she wasn't going to build anything real with that guy, but she couldn't help herself. Okay? And the reason I bring up that example is not to diss France. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Okay? I'm including myself. I'm not a perfect person. Okay? So the reason I bring that up is because if you're one of those people that feel like, but this is wrong of me to do. I shouldn't do this. I should always present myself and be as open and honest with all of my feelings. So if I super love a person, I'm super into that, I should just express that feel freely. I should never try and play any games. I should never try and give them any uncertainty. I should never try to make them feel like, they have to compete for my attention. I should never try to make them feel any negative emotion. Only try to make my partner feel positivity. Never try to make them feel like they have to chase after me or pursue me or anything like that, right? Cool. You can do that. But just understand, right? When you give people too much of anything is a bad thing. When you give people too much security, sometimes, I won't say every time, but sometimes it leads to discontent. Because your partner begins to feel like there is nothing left to work for. And their security turns into discontent because they feel like they don't even have to do anything in order to earn your love. I told this to France yesterday. Maybe France is listening now. Maybe she just used a different name. I know you guys try to be slick. Maybe France is listening now. Maybe she's not. But nevertheless, I said this to France yesterday. I know that the only reason France did that was simply because deep in the deepest, darkest recessions of her mind, she subconsciously, in the span of a decade, growing and learning this person, she knew that if she were to do this, before she ever did it, that her man was likely to forgive her, which is why, or that she could get her man to forgive her, which is why she even did it in the first place. Okay. And the only reason I say that is because that's a perfect example of how that extreme security over a 10-year period can lead to discontent in a partner if you're not careful and you don't feel like that partner has to work for your love anymore. Okay? So enchantment is very important. Embry said, does this apply to married couples? Well, so if you go back and you rewatch that live stream yesterday and you rewatch that Discord discussion, that question that she sent in, you'll see in her question, she states that they've been together for 10 years and they had been engaged for 3 years. So that's about as close to being married as you can possibly get. So I guess my answer to your question simply is yes, it does. Okay. I think everything that I talk about here can be applied to marriages as well. Obviously, it's going to be a slightly different if it's a marriage versus if you're first meeting someone. But I don't think there's ever a point where you want to stop doing things that will allow your partner to continue desiring you. And I don't think that all of the things you do to help your partner continue desiring you have to necessarily be toxic. Okay? You can be busy because you're genuinely busy. You cannot be a textaholic because you genuinely have better things to do with your time and you actually have other passions and hobbies and interests that take up your brain space and time and energy outside of just sitting on your couch and texting your partner away for the entire day. Okay, that doesn't have to be a toxic thing, but it can still allow your partner to continue desiring you and pursuing you because they want you, want your attention, and want your love. Okay. So mystery was number 1. Enchantment was number 2. I just talked about desire. Desire is number 3. Okay. So how to force men to chase you to think about you all the time. You need to understand that much like I gave in the example when it led to the big black box and the aquaphor in one hand and the big black box in the other hand, right? We as human beings, we want what we cannot have. Okay. That's just if you study psychology, you should know that. If you've been a human being on this earth, you should understand that concept that naturally we gravitate towards wanting and desiring the things that we cannot have, right? The things that we cannot have, no matter how small or big, are always the things that take up most of our attention, time, and energy. Okay? Why? Simply because you can't desire something that you already have full access to. It's impossible. Okay? The moment you get that thing, you stop desiring it. I'll give you an example, and this is very unrelated to relationships. Okay? For example, Have you ever noticed, and you guys can answer me in the chat, have you ever noticed that it's only the richest of the rich people that will tell you how little money matters and how money is so unimportant and how money will never buy you happiness and never give you any more happiness, and you'll never be any more happy if you have any more money? And you sit there to yourself and you think to yourself and you're like, I'm pretty sure if I had $1 million right now, I'd be quite a bit more happier than I am right now. So in that sense, yeah, actually money can increase happiness. And you think to yourself, how come all of the billionaires talk about how little money matters and how little money affects happiness? Okay. And I know you're probably like, what does this have anything to do with relationships? The reason I asked that question and give that example is because it's the same thing in terms of desire, right? Because a billionaire has little to no desire for more money. Why? Because they have more money. How can I, as a billionaire, have the intrinsic motivation to chase and desire more money to the point where I feel like it will actually make me a happier person if I already have more money? Now, that doesn't mean that billionaires don't actively seek out more money, but they stop getting the feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment from getting more money. It just becomes a part of their life. And so the idea of getting more money is not necessarily more exciting to them. It doesn't necessarily fulfill them any more than they were feeling fulfilled before that, right? Their desires shift into the places of the things that they don't already have, okay? Your desires will always be, right? And I just gave that example of money and billionaires, okay? But your desire will always be in the places of the things that you don't have enough of for at all. You're never going to truly be able to desire the things that you already have in totality, in fullness. Okay? Okay, so, and the reason I bring that up is because if you want to force a man to think of you all the time, you have to understand how desire works. Desire can't be in a place where everything that he could ever want as it relates to you is already existing. There has to be things left to desire. Okay? I know that might be confusing to some of you because you'd be like, how can I be in a relationship with someone and they still desire me? Well, see, that is the magical question, right? How can you be in a romantic relationship with someone and still have them desiring you in an ongoing fashion that never stops? You want to be like Netflix, okay? Right? You don't want to be like a used car, something they purchase once, they use it for a little bit, and then they throw it away and get a new car, right? You want to be like a Netflix subscription where every month he is continuing to desire you over and over and over again. However, if you're going to do that, you have to be cognizant. Cognizant just means understanding of the fact that you're going to have to actively do things to increase and maintain your desirability if you really want him to think about you all the time. Okay? Because if he's thinking about you all the time, he's obsessed with you. If he's obsessed with you, he desires you. If he desires you, then you're doing things to earn that desire. Okay. The same way I say you only get the respect in this world that you demand is the same way you only get the desire in this world that you work for. So if you do not work to be more desirable, you will not be more desired. If that makes any sense. Now, the great part about increasing desire as a woman for a man is that it doesn't actually require you to do anything more for the man. That's the craziest part about desire. If you want him to think about you all the time and he's actually interested in you and you want him to just be thinking about you 24/7, the craziest part about increasing your desirability is everything that you would do to make yourself more desirable would actually be investing into you more. Okay? I know you're probably like, what? What are you even talking about? For example, right? You're more desirable if you're more beautiful, you're more fit, you're in shape, obviously. Okay, let's not be silly. Now, if you're more beautiful, you're more in shape, that makes you more desirable. What do you have to do to be more beautiful or to be seen as more attractive, physically attractive? You go to the gym. But in reality, going to the gym is investing in yourself. It's not about doing more things for the guys. You're actually investing in yourself. And the fact that you invest in yourself, that makes you more desirable to the men. The same way, okay, if you take care of your skin, you're investing in yourself, but you become more desirable to the men. If you have other passions or hobbies, right? You're investing, that takes up your time and energy. You're investing in yourself, but now all of a sudden the men want to chase you around because they don't get enough of your time and attention, and they want to show you how they can be the man for you, and they want to show you that they can take you out on dates and woo you and wow you and get you to pay attention to them and be with them because you're so focused on something else that they feel the need to pursue you and chase after you. You understand what I'm saying? Everything about increasing your desirability is really about investing more into yourself. That's why it's such an amazing concept. It's such an amazing because a lot of times you think, oh, making myself more desirable is really about getting on my hands and knees and doing more for him. It's not, okay? And it's never been. Truthfully, the men only desire women who are not focusing all their time and attention on them. They desire all the women who are actively focusing all their attention and time on someone or something else, as stupid and silly as that sounds. It's the same reason why the man that you like and love and chase after and pursue and are begging to go on dates with you is sitting there on his phone, liking IG models' pictures and commenting on their profiles and posting them on his story and, saving them to his phone, right? It's the same thing. It's the same reason why the man that you like is whacking off to OF models and sending them a whole bunch of money. And he can't even take you out for a nice dinner. Right? It's because desire for men, as crazy as it sounds, they desire the women who are investing into themselves and not the women who are begging, right, for their attention. I know that that's not what you probably wanted to hear me say, but actually it's a good thing because all it means is that the more you focus on self-care, the more desirable you become to the men. So it's like a win-win, literally a win-win. That's why vice versa, it also becomes a lose-lose when you're focusing all your time and energy, right, on how to get him to pay attention to you, how to get him to want you, and you're trying to do everything under the sun to get him to want you, and you're abandoning all your self-care, your self-love, doing anything for yourself to try to be everything that he needs you to be, only to end up in a position where he wants you less because all of your focus, time, and energy is spent on him and trying to be everything you need to be for him instead of investing in yourself. When in reality, if you wanted the result of him desiring you and pursuing you and chasing after you, all you had to do was take a step back and focus that time and attention on yourself. And then he would say, damn, you look good, girl. I want you. Damn, you taking care of yourself, girl. I want you busy for me, girl. I'm trying to see you more. I'm trying to go out with you when you free, girl. I'm trying to take you out on a date. I'm trying to spend some time with you. I'm trying to this and that with you, right? All of that stems from, right? All of that stems from the fact that you were investing in yourself. And that's where the desire comes from. And that desire is one of the main ways that you're going to force him to think about you. As his desire increases for you, so does his thought power and brain power towards you. All right. Samsonite says, congratulate France once again for finally finding the confidence to start looking at other men after that mental prison of 10 years. That is a joke to get engaged 3 years long. After 7 years, she did right. Well, here's the thing, Samsonite. If we go back to France's question that was in yesterday's chat, you'll see that in France's question from yesterday's chat, we don't quite know yet what it was. Maybe France might do a follow-up. If you can, France, and you're listening, do a follow-up. We don't know why it was that they were engaged for 3 years. So it might be him. It also might be her. It might be a combination of both of them, or a situation or a circumstance that was making them kind of be engaged for 3 months. So we're not quite sure. Okay. So does that make sense to you guys so far? We had mystery number 1, we had enchantment number 2, and we had desire that was number 3. Okay. Are you guys following along so far? We have so many beautiful people in the YouTube chat as well. We got like a record number of people. Okay. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay. Cherie says yes. Rosie says yes. Okay. I'm glad you guys are following along. Right. So desire was number 3. Number 4, we have scarcity. Now, if you want a man to be thinking of you all the time, I'm sorry to tell you, you cannot be around all the time. Look me in my eyes. If you want a man to think of you all the time, you cannot be around all the time. He cannot miss you if you're actively here. Okay? It's impossible. Now, that doesn't mean literally purposely turn down hanging out with him or going out on a date with him so that he can, you can create more scarcity and so that you can force him to think about you more. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you want him to if you want scarcity to be happening so that he can think of you all the time, then you need to be making sure that the only times he gets access to you are in the high quality versions, and we'll talk about quality literally next, the high quality versions of you that are going to enchant him and make him feel that rush of sensation that spending time with you is the most amazing experience he could possibly have, right? And I want that to be his only experience of you. And I want those, and obviously if those experiences are coming in such high quality forms, but for such short period of time, that's going to create scarcity. Scarcity is good. In the business world, right? The whole business world is predicated on demand and supply, which is demand just means the amount of scarcity or lack of scarcity versus how much people want your product versus how much people have access to your product, right? So when you have scarcity, but you're coming in such high quality forms, meaning in-person dates, when he spends time with you, he feels good, you guys laugh, you guys enjoy your time, you guys have such interesting conversation, he's invested, he gets to talk about himself, he gets to have a good time with you, he laughs, you guys tell jokes, like all of this positive experiences with you and around you when you spend time in person. However, when you're not in person, you're scarce to him. Okay, this is where the key comes in, and this is the part that I know most of you won't want to hear. So probably plug your ears, okay? You're going to have to be scarce on this. I know you hate that. I know that you hate that. You're going to have to be scarce to him on this. You're not going to be a textaholic and have him thinking about you all the time. You want to know why? Because every time you're texting him all throughout the day, it feels like to him like he's spending time with you. The problem with that is he's not actually spending real time with you. But it's coming in a very low quality form where he doesn't actually feel like you're scarce to him. What it feels more like is that he speaks to you and sees you 24/7. How can you possibly be scarce if he sees you and speaks to you 24/7? You can't possibly be scarce. So how are you possibly going to manage supply and demand? How are you possibly going to get a guy to think about you who never has the space to miss you? Okay? Because I know it sounds counterintuitive. You're thinking, well, if he's texting me all the time, he'll be thinking about me. No, he won't be thinking about you in the way that actually increases his desire for you and increases his yearning to be with you and spend time with you and want to be around you, right? You're actually going to have him thinking of you in ways where he's like, well, I text her 24/7. So I speak to her 24/7. So there's never an off period. So if there's never an off period, think about Would you be able to miss someone if you spent 24 hours a day next to them? No, actually, you'd get sick of them after a while. Okay. If you spent all 24 hours of a day just in the same place, in the same room with someone, okay, you wouldn't be able to miss them until they are gone, until they are scarce. Now, like I said, there's a balance, and it doesn't mean that you have to not see him or purposely not hang out with him or anything like that. All you have to do is make sure that the low quality forms of spending time with you or being around you are the times where you are the most scarce, because those low quality forms of communication and getting to know you and spending time with you are only going to serve to your detriment, right? Embry says, wow, you need a lot of self-control not texting, right? I know. And maybe one day, I talk so much about texting, maybe one day we'll do a whole show exactly on texting etiquette to get a guy, to really be interested in you. If you guys want that, let me know, okay? Right? Because there's a specific etiquette that you can use to be scarce while still being interesting enough that he continues to want to get to know you and take you out on dates. Because remember, you want to get him to think of you all the time. Why do you want him to get him to think of you all the time? Because you want this guy to like you. You want this guy to love you. You want this guy to be interested in you. You want this guy to pursue you. You want this guy to chase after you. Okay? You're trying to build a relationship with him, right? Which means you got to go out on dates. You got to spend in-person time together. Okay, so it's not necessary for you to be doing things that make it easier for him to not want to spend time with you. Okay, I know you think texting him more will make him want to spend more time with you, but it actually does the opposite, right? It makes you less scarce to him, that he doesn't feel that void of not being around you and not speaking to you, that he actually feels the need to see you in person. Rosie says, what if it's long distance? It's the same thing, right? Obviously, you're not going to approach it the exact same way, but I want you to think, if you were in a long distance relationship and you truly rarely got the chance to speak to that person over the phone, what would you be forced to do if you wanted to continue that long distance relationship? You would be forced to make a plan to go see that person in person. You would be forced. Because if you didn't do that, there would be no other option of communication. This is the thing. Some people's long distance relationship is different, but I want you to understand that's the mistake that a lot of people are even making, even in the longest relationship or even in the short distance relationship, right? Is that they don't realize, especially you as women, you don't realize how that constant communication over the phone can actually kill his desire to feel motivated that, hey, if I don't see her in person, I don't get access to her. If I don't see her in person, I don't get to see her. I don't get to speak to her. And so the only other possible option, if he wants to see you and spend time with you, is to plan a date and see you in person. And you know who that serves in that scenario? That serves you. You win. You win. You see how you win? When you're scarce, you win. That's why my thumbnail on YouTube says mystery wins. You win. When you're scarce, when you're mysterious, you win. You get all the benefit. Because what does he do when you're scarce? He pursues you more, right? He chases after you more. You are scarce to him. So he's trying to make you unscarce. He's trying to ease his anxiety and spend more time with you, not less time with you. If you're available all the time, think about this. This is what I want you to take away. If you're available with him all the time, the only place or thought left for him to have is that he would like to spend less time with you. That's the only there's no possible way, if you spend all your time talking to him and with him, right? If you're never scarce to him, there's no possible way he could ever think to himself, I want to spend more time with her. He can only think to himself, I want to spend less time with her, right? And so this isn't a hard concept to implement. Ivy says it's exhausting, right? Here's the thing, right? Is that it doesn't have to be exhausting. All you have to do is put down the cell phone. It's actually not a difficult concept. You'll be happier because of it. And he'll be happier because he'll feel motivated to actually chase and pursue after you because he doesn't get you in any other version, right? And you'll be happier because you'll have a man actually pursuing you as opposed to having a passive textaholic. This is one of the many reasons why I tell you guys you should probably ditch the dating apps. I can't tell you what to do with your life, but if you want better results, I tell you guys probably want to ditch the dating apps, because on those dating apps, you meet a bunch of textaholic men who know how to be the best texter and the most interesting texter. But for a lot of them, they're quite unmotivated to pursue you in terms of going out on dates, spending real time together, building a connection. They just want to be a textaholic maniac and then see you when it's time to receive Squirtle. Pointless for you and what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so scarcity is number 4. Number 1 was mystery. Number 2 was enchantment. Number 3 was desire. Number 4 was scarcity. Number 5, we have quality. You need to understand the same way how we just talked about scarcity and we talked about supply and demand, the same way it is in a business, right? It's just the same concept. You want to make sure that your quality is coming in very high dosages. I know I just brought this up with the texting. You want to make sure that you're not giving him low quality versions of yourself, meaning over text. There's no conversation. There's no heart to heart. There's no anything that you can have over text that is really meaningful other than communicating information that is important in terms of scheduling the next time you're going to actually see each other. That's my advice to you. We'll talk about texting etiquette in another show, but my honest advice to you is to use your phone as a scheduling tool when it comes to your relationships. Do not use your phone as a crutch to get to know people. Okay? You will be giving this man such low quality versions of yourself that he will not have the time or the space to ever think about you or miss you or be anxious about you, right? Okay? Because even if you didn't have a cell phone, right? Let's say you literally just didn't have a cell phone. He would be anxious thinking about what it is you want, thinking about when the next time he's going to see you, and next time he's going to talk to you, the next time he's going to speak to you, right? And that's a good thing. Jen says it is the same with FaceTime and phone calls. The thing that I say to FaceTime and phone calls is it is better than texting, okay? So it's not the worst thing in the world. That's my thing about phone calls. However, you don't want to get caught in the cycle of fulfilling his desire to see you and speak to you over call and FaceTime, that he no longer has the desire to actually spend real in-person time with you. Okay, just keep that in mind, right? Because if he gets so accustomed to just being able to pick up his phone and call you every day, well, it kind of kills that desire and that anticipation to say to himself, I want to plan to see her on an actual date. And I want to anticipate the fact that we're actually going to go out on this date, right? That anticipation is also doing what? Forcing him to think about you more, okay? If he has nothing to anticipate because you're always there all the time in all these low quality forms, well, you're killing his ability to really think about you in a way that grows his desire for you, that grows his ability to want to pursue you, that grows his ability to like you and love you and be interested and intrigued by you, right? Venus says, is it possible to recapture his attention by pulling back if you were previously too available? 100% it's possible. Now, that comes right? At a cost, because in some instances, you might realize when you pull back that you were the one doing a lot of the pursuing. And if it wasn't for you doing the pursuing, that he wasn't really that interested in you in the first place. I'm not saying that that's your particular a situation, Venus. I just want you to understand, for all the rest of you, that that is also a possibility. For some of you, you're doing so much of the pursuing without even realizing it, that by the time you do try and pull back and reverse the damage that's been done, you realize that if it wasn't for you pursuing or reaching out, you guys would have never talked. And that can be a painful realization. I just want you to be prepared that that is a possibility for some of you. Okay, so mystery was number 1, enchantment was number 2, desire was number 3, scarcity number 4, number 5 we had quality, okay, and number 6 we have denial. Okay, I want you to understand this. Men love no. They love it. They also, I know it makes no sense. Men love no when no feels like yes. Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't let me lose you. No is good. No is even better when no feels like yes. Why? Goes back to the mystery. It's confusing. That confusion makes you debate with yourself. Which one is it? Is it no that means no, or no that means yes? Is it no that means no, or no that means yes? And what happens? They're forced to think about you, analyze everything that you've said, every word, every text, every phone call, every FaceTime, every meeting, every piece of body language, every blink, every squint, every twitch, everything, in order to determine, does no mean no, or no mean yes? Think of it as playing hard to get, okay? Right? And I know you might think, well, I'm playing hard to get. That's just annoying. That's just frustrating. He's not going to be interested in that. That's one of those things that, guys, I'll be the first one to tell you. Everyone caps, okay? If you don't know what cap means, just lies. Everyone lies, okay? Everyone lies about what they want from a person or a partner, okay? We all do this thing. This is everyone. We all do this thing where we say, I don't like this. I don't like when guys do this, or I don't like when girls do that, or I don't like when people do this. In reality, when people do that, they get the best response from us. It's not something we can actively control, okay? What I mean by that is, this is one of those things for guys. We say, I don't want a girl that plays hard to get. Yo, that's just annoying. Yo, that's just frustrating. Yo, these girls playing hard to get, they think they big and bad. Yo, I don't got time for that. Yo, I'm not into that. Yo, if she trying to play hard to get, yo, it's not, I don't got time. Yo, I'm too busy for yo. I'm the man. I'm not interested in no girl playing hard to get. And so what does that do? You think that the best way to get him to be interested in you is by being, oh, I like you so much and I want to spend all my time with you, and I'll be available to you 24/7. Just like you said, you don't want me to play hard to get, so I won't play hard to get at all. I'll actually make it as easy as I possibly can for you. And then what does he go? What happens? What's the response you get from him? He goes, you'll be available all the time? Quite uninteresting. I think I'll go chase after a girl that doesn't want me. And you're sitting there like an idiot. You're like, what? I thought you said that you want. I thought you said that you didn't like girls that play hard to get. What happened? I played easy to get. Why don't you want me now? Why don't you want me any? And you look like an idiot. Why? Because guys are lying. They're lying. They don't actually want a girl who's easy to get. They want the girl who's hard to get. It's just frustrating, and they don't like the frustration, but they actually do like the frustration. This is why I say there are no positive or negative emotions in reality. They're just emotions. But what they feel like is a negative experience in terms of the frustration they feel when you're playing hard to get, or when you give them the no that feels like a yes and they're not sure, and it's just I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, just give me an answer, just be straightforward with me, right? In reality, the frustration they love because it's addicting. right? The frustration forces you to think about someone. It forces them to be on your mind. So what they really mean when they say they don't like a girl that plays hard to get, when they don't like a girl that won't just be straight up or, be blunt with them, what they really mean is they hate the fact that when they have too much mystery surrounding a girl, when they don't know where she stands or where he stands with her, they're forced to think about her so much that it becomes annoying and frustrating how much that girl will be on their mind. They want to be at peace with themselves in their own mind, that they don't have to be thinking about you all the time. That's the frustration they're talking about. And that's the frustration they don't like. They're frustrated with the fact they cannot turn the switch off, right? By responding in a different way when they receive that from a woman. So when they receive that denial, that no, that feels like a yes, that they're not sure and they have to debate with themselves, they're forced to it forces them to bring out a response in them that makes them think, oh, but what does she want? What does she think? What is this? What is that? And that they're like, oh, I hate this. I can't do this anymore. And so that's why they're like, I don't want a girl that plays hard to get, because they're frustrated with the fact they cannot control that response, right? This is why I say the better you understand why people react to certain things and what they react to, you can elicit that response in people regardless of what they feel or what they want. Right? Because if a girl gives me no's that feels like yeses, and this could be in any capacity, if a girl is denying me in a way that doesn't feel like a total denial, it feels like she's just cracking the door just open enough that if I try really hard, I'll get to it. It forces me to debate with myself. Should I do it? Should I not? Does she want me? Does she not? Does she this? Does she not? And all of that debate is taking up brain space in my mind, and I'm forced to think about you. There is no choice but to think about you. And the only way to stop thinking about you is to completely detach myself from you and the relationship. So as long as you play that denial right, where you give the no's that feel like yeses, right? You continue to tote that line where he continues to have to think about you if he's interested in you. Sabsky says, can you give example about the no? Okay. So for example, a no that feels like a yes could be something as simple as him. Now, you obviously know how I feel about giving away your Squirtle on the first date, but an example of a no that feels like a yes could be you telling him how you're not interested in hooking up with anyone, but you do find him very physically attractive. See, even if, listen to me, because I'm not saying go out and actually hook up with him, but even if you have no intention of hooking up with him, that becomes an addiction where he feels like if he just tries hard enough, he can actually get you to be physically intimate with him, even if you know you never plan on being physically intimate with him. What happens is he becomes addicted and frustrated with the fact that he feels like, oh, I don't feel like she actually meant that she doesn't want to be intimate with me. I feel like she actually meant I just have to try harder. Right? Open All Doors said it so perfectly just now. Please pin that. She said they want to be able to feel like they can convince you. They want to be able to convince you. And that denial, that no, that feels like a yes, feels like, oh, you just want to be convinced. And so what do? They do the most to try and convince you. Okay? Okay, I'll give you an even better example. Make it as simple as you possibly can. It's as simple as a guy saying, yo, let's say you and a guy are at a party, you guys are flirting back and forth, right? And let's say you guys have met through some mutual friends before, so maybe you know of him. You guys just don't know each other well. And he's talking to you and he's kind of like trying to be slick, trying to be suave. He's like, girl, you know you into me. Like, yo, I be seeing how you be looking at me, how you be wanting me and this and that. Da, da, da. Why you trying to hide it, yo? Always trying to be too cool for school. Like, I know you be looking at me. I know you be talking about me. I know you into me. And then you're sitting there like, I really like, I don't even notice you. Like, I barely notice you. I only talk to you because you're the friend of my other friend. Honestly, like I haven't thought of you except for this one time you did some weird thing, but other than that, like, I don't really think about you. I don't really care about you. But you're saying it in a way that feels like, but you wouldn't be here talking to me like this, going back and forth with me if you weren't actually interested in me. This is what he's saying in his mind. So he's saying, I hear what you're saying, and I hear the words that are coming out of your mouth, but your body language and everything that you're communicating to me non-verbally makes me feel like you're actually kind of interested in me, but you're not saying it. And so what happens is he begins hyper analyzing everything that you're saying and doing, trying to justify, well, you're saying words that don't make me feel like how I'm feeling on the inside. So I'm trying to decipher, what do the words mean versus what does the feeling mean? Because if you truly were uninterested in me, why are you laughing and giggling and telling jokes with me like you're interested in me? But you're saying you're not interested in me. But you wouldn't be laughing and giggling and telling jokes with me and being here talking to me for 30 minutes in this party where you could be talking to anyone else if you weren't interested in me. This is quite confusing. Your no feels like it means yes. Right? And this is how you get a guy to be thinking about you all the time. The no that feels like a yes is confusing. But the confusion that leads to frustration is actually what will help him think about you all the time. If he has no frustration, right? No confusion, there is no line to toe. There is no, she loves me not. She loves me not. It's just, she loves me. So then what's the point of the game of the she loves me not? What's the point of picking the flowers? She loves me not, if you know she loves me, especially at the beginning. Okay, because I know most of you want this information in order to understand how to get these guys super interested in you and pursuing you in the span of the beginning of a relationship, right? Especially at the beginning. This is when this is the most powerful, right? Are you guys following what I'm saying so far? Jen says mixed signals. Exactly. Okay. Is that making sense to you guys so far? Right? Anna says, how should you interact with their socials and IG? Don't. I would advise you to not. Okay? If he's already interested in you, or you feel like he's already intrigued in you, there's no reason to do that. All you're doing is making it more clear that you're more interested in him. Okay? The moment you sense that a guy is interested in you, work is done. Work is done. All you need to do now is keep the mystery going, that you can continue to be a fantasy to him. Stop trying to do more, thinking that doing more will make him like you more. No, all you're doing is killing the fantasy and the mystery when you do more, okay? Do just enough, right? Once you realize that he's interested in you and he wants you, stop everything else, okay? Let him do the rest of the work. I seen someone ask that question. I think it was yesterday or the day, or on the Friday in the Discord, where she was like, "Oh, this guy likes me, and he took me out on a date, or he invited me to a couple places, and he comes to my work and he compliments me. What should I do now?" And I was like, "Literally do nothing. Literally do nothing. He knows where you work. He knows where to find you. He knows that if he wants to access you, he's got your number, or he can invite you places. He can take you out to places if he wants to. You don't need to do anything more. Clearly, he's showing interest in you. So just stay where you are. Don't let your water break. Don't get all confuzzled that you feel like you got to start going and doing stuff and saying stuff. No, stay where you are. Let him pursue you continuously. Okay, because the moment you get all confuzzled and you start saying, well, he likes me, but he's not liking me enough, so I've got to do more to make him like me more. No. Stop it. Bad girl. Stop it. Stay there. You don't do that. Okay, stay where you are. Let him continue pursuing you. Don't do anything. Okay, so very important. Mystery was number 1. Enchantment number 2. Desire number 3. Scarcity number 4. 5 was quality. Number 6 was the now. And number 7 is tease. Now, very obviously, tease goes into the now, the no that feels like a yes. Part of enchanting him is teasing him. Like, really I know that It sounds easy in theory because we're talking and you're not in love with me. Well, maybe some of you are in love with me, but most of you aren't in love with me. So it's easy when we're talking about this in theory right now, but I really want you to take these concepts and think about how you approach the guys that you're into, that you're actually into, and figure out the ways you can tease those men. And it doesn't always have to be tease like you're rubbing your Squirtle against him. No, you can tease him in emotional ways that just make him feel like he's a rabbit chasing a carrot. And it's like he's a rabbit and it's like, oh my God, the carrot's dangling right in front of him. And if he could just reach out and but the carrot, it moved. I was so close. And it's like he reaches and he stretches and if he just gets, and the carrot's gone again. Where did it go? And it's a vicious cycle, right? You want to be teasing, not just his lower extremities. I literally mean teasing his mind. Just give him just enough that he feels like, oh, I think she's into me. I think she wants me. I think, well, no, I don't think she wants me anymore. She's just doing things. She's not interested. She's not talking to me as much. She's not as smiley. She's not as giggly. She doesn't call me. Right? It's a vicious cycle. Ivy says that's too much work. That's fine if you feel like that's too much work, but then don't be wondering why the men in your life that you want don't desire you and don't pursue you. Okay? You can be, guys, remember, I'm not here to tell you how you should live your life. But if you want to see some different results, I can give you some advice on how to see some different results. If you don't think that my advice makes any sense, or you don't want to do any of those things or make any changes, keep doing what you've been doing. Keep seeing the same results you've been seeing. That's perfectly fine with me. Doesn't affect my life whatsoever. Okay? Now, when it comes to teasing, like I said, it's not just about rubbing your Squirtle against him. That's not what it's all about. Teasing is really about the emotional back and forth. Think about what it feels. If you've ever been in a really good, what's the word I'm looking, like flirt session where you meet someone and you feel like you're definitely flirting with each other, but you're not talking about anything sexual, okay? But you're in your mind, you're like, we're literally talking about the fish in the fish aisle right now. I met someone at the grocery store. We're talking about the fish in the fish aisle, but I know that we're flirting with each other. Like I know, I can feel it in my heart that we're flirting with each other. I'm at a bookstore and we're talking about different books. And I know in my heart and in my mind that we're flirting with each other. Okay. Have any of you ever been in a situation like that where you're somewhere, it could be somewhere random, and you're talking about something totally unrelated to being romantic or being intimate or relationships. And you're like, I know for a fact we're flirting right now. I can bet my bottom dollar you're flirting with me and I'm flirting with you. We're just not talking about it. But I know that it's happening and I can feel it happening in my Squirtle and in my mind. Okay. Right? Daydream says you can tell when someone's into you, right? Yola says yes. Sarah says yes as well, right? And so that feeling is what I want you to embody. This is part of your enchantment, right? Give him that same feeling that you know. I know that you're flirting with me. You're just not saying it. And the fact that they're not saying it is actually what makes it even more interesting and exciting. I want you to focus on giving those men that feeling where you're like, where he's saying, where you know that what you're communicating to him, right? Outside of three-dimensional space and outside of the words that you're saying, what you're communicating to him is making him feel like, I know that I feel like she's into me, but I feel like if I say that, then I'm probably just an idiot. There's no way she's into me. No, she's probably not into me. Is she into me? No, she can't be into me, right? And he's like walking home after he meets you in the bookstore and he's thinking to himself, did we just flirt? No, we were just talking about books, but she is so cute. I wonder if she knows that I like her, right? It's a vicious cycle. They just spiral and spiral and spiral, and it's perfect for you. Okay? Perfect for you. Because remember, mystery wins. Mystery wins. If you want him to think of you all the time, you need to stay mysterious and be strategic about how you present yourself and your approach. If you do that, that man will be thinking about you 24/7, 365, trying to figure out what it is you want with him and how it is you feel about him. Okay. So I've, like I said, give an example. I kind of just gave an example of how it would feel to flirt with someone at a bookstore, but you know you're talking about books, but you know that you guys are actually flirting, not really talking about books, right? It's that same concept. And when you're talking about teasing someone emotionally, so vice versa, right? When you're meeting someone, figure out how in the process of you flirting or meeting this person, when you're around each other, how can you give them that feeling like, I feel like you're into me, but I'm not sure. I just don't know for sure because you're not saying it. This is why, like, you want to be focused on saying as little about how you actually feel, especially if you like someone. I want you to, the last thing you should do if you actually really like someone, especially at the very beginning, is telling them how much you like them. I want you to refrain from that and focus on giving them the feeling that you like them without ever saying it. That is my direct advice to you and my direct example for you. Okay? Because that feeling is not concrete enough that that person can guarantee to themselves, oh, I know you're into me. And the fact that they have to question that is a tease in itself, that they feel like, oh, but it's there. And I know it's there. And I feel it being there. But I just can't confirm it. But the fact that I can't confirm it makes me not 100% sure of its existence. And that's the amazing part about this, is that by the time his wheels are spinning and he's going back and forth, being like, is this true? Is this not? Is this real? Is this not? Is this a feeling? Is this reality? He's already in your firm grip, thinking about you all the damn time. Okay? Does that make sense what we discussed today, or are you guys confused about anything before we head into the Discord? By the way, for those of you who are new here, if you're brand new here, I know some of you are new. I know some of you are very new on YouTube. Some of you might be new on TikTok. Before the show ends, we do something very special on Discord where we answer a whole bunch of personal questions and situations. So please make sure you stay for that, because trust me, it gets juicy on Discord. Discord gets crazy. So before we get to the Discord, though, I just want to make sure that I answer everyone's question and everyone is of the same understanding of what we discussed here today. Okay, right? Ella says, small summary. I came halfway through. So we talked about how to force men to think of you all the time. We talked about mystery was number one, enchantment, desire, scarcity, quality, denial, and the tease. It won't make much sense to you unless you watch it in its entirety, though. So I recommend you go on my YouTube. You can find the entire live stream there. Okay, right? For those of you who missed the live stream, you can go find it on YouTube. All right. How long should the mystery last? Mystery is forever, guys. Mystery is not like, and this is why I say you can do mystery in a healthy way where you just have enough mystery to your as a partner that your partner continues to want to know more about you. Think about it. If you're truly in a relationship that lasts a lifetime, do you think that a healthy version of that relationship is a point where you ever get bored of knowing more about the person? And so if you're in a relationship where you're supposed to never get bored of the person, that means there's always more that you want to know about them. There's always more that's interesting about them. There's always more that you find fascinating about them. And so the mystery should never have to end. Okay? The mystery never has to end, and it shouldn't end. Okay? Lydia says, really great information, took notes on everything. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Right? Kamara says, I love that name. Kamara says, if I may add, this only clicks if the man is highly interested and attracted to you. Well, yes, right? Obviously, this is going to be difficult to force a man to think of you all the time who's a complete stranger to you, right? So there obviously has to be a level of attraction. But remember, desire is also created by how much you invest in yourself. So you can attract a lot more men and a lot higher quantities by investing in yourself as well. So they kind of all work together. Madison in the YouTube chat says, sometimes I feel like when I'm being love bombed, I mistake it for being casually flirty. How do I differentiate? Well, I feel like, Madison, being love bombed feels more intense than a casual flirt, right? Being love bombed will feel more, what's the word? I don't want to say in your face, but intense in the sense of like when you're being love bombed, you'll feel like it's over the top. That was the word I'm looking for. It'll feel more over the top. It'll also feel less genuine, if that makes any sense. Talking about books at a bookstore, right? But knowing that you feel like you guys are actually casually flirting in the process of talking about books at a bookstore, that's a very different feeling than someone coming out and because love bombing is like they come out and tell you, you're the most amazing, beautiful person I've ever met in my life. And I've only known you for one day, but I know that I want to marry you for the rest of my life and spend the rest of my life with you. That's love bombing, right? Like, and so those are two totally different feelings because one is overwhelming and doesn't even make logical sense or seem genuine. And then the other one is more casual and doesn't feel as intense, right? Like it doesn't feel unnatural. So that's why you have to kind of be tapped into your intuition where you can actually feel like, okay, this feels genuine, right? This doesn't feel like you're being over the top. Remember I said love bombing, the perfect example of love bombing is like when someone comes up to you on the street and they say, oh my God, you have such amazing feet. Your feet are so succulent. They're so kissable. They're so suckable. Your toes are so nice. Your toenails are painted so well. You just have the most symmetrical, prettiest feet in the world. And then you're like this, you're like, hey, I'm actually wearing shoes. So it's great that you're so obsessed with my feet, but it doesn't make any sense because you can't even see my feet, right? That's kind of what love bombing feels like as an analogy, right? It doesn't make any sense because you wouldn't even actually be able to know any of these things about me, right? Nasia, I think it says Nasia says, isn't cheating, etc. categorized as playing games? I heard men don't like it when women play games. Nasia, you probably weren't here when we talked about it earlier. A lot of people say a lot of things, okay? Men will also tell you, I don't like girls that play hard to get. I don't like girls that play games. I don't like girls that this. I don't like girls that tease. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating. I don't have time for that. Let them yap their mouth away. Because the reality of it is, the girls that come out and say, oh, I like you so much. I want to spend so much time with you. I want to be with you forevermore. I want to spend my whole life with you. All they think to themselves is, wow, quite uninteresting and boring. I'm going to go talk to someone else. That's all they do. Okay? The truth of the matter is people lie. People also lie about what they want or how they'll respond to things, right? They're frustrated because they can't control the response that they give when a girl gives them no's that feel like yeses and they're not sure and they play hard to get, right? Because they're so unsure, all they can do is think about that girl all the time and that becomes frustrating to them. So that's annoying and they don't want that feeling because they can't control that response. But in reality, they give you the response that you want from them if you play hard to get. Don't listen to what don't listen to that. Don't listen. That's garbage. Okay. They're just yapping because they want you, right, to put all your cards on the table that they don't have to do any guessing or work for your time and attention. And it can be very easy for them. Okay. Notice that the girls that are the easiest to men, they don't seem to care about. Just doesn't work like that. Right. Adriana says, why did he ask for my number? He says he called. It's been 6 days. So Adriana, if you have a personal situation going on that you want answered, please go into the Discord, which we're about to hop in right now, and ask your question and I will answer it live on the stream. Okay. It's Discord time. 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 Okay, it's Discord time. Let's go. It's Discord time. Let's step over into the Discord where we shall answer some amazing Discord questions. It's always wild every single day. Yesterday we had Asia, I think it was on Friday. Then we had France, which was yesterday. Someone says Discord a video. You shall see here momentarily what Discord is. Discord is a platform in which all of you beautiful, amazing people get to bring your own personal questions to me and I can answer them live on stream, and everyone else can also give you their thoughts and opinions as well. Okay. So let's step into the Discord where we shall answer some questions. So we left off on Baby Bliss yesterday. Let's get Holly to start off today. So Holly says, he's so busy. A guy that I like is not investing quality time. Well, we've had pineapples, right? You guys should know what pineapples means. But it was only the dates I like. What do you mean by that? Spending the whole evening with me. Cooking me dinner, drinks, music, good conversation, really connecting. Those make me happy and I reward for that. I like pineapples too. He's been doing all the pursuing. Good. Okay? But the last few weekends, let's see here. The last few weekends, he's been busy and has asked if I'm free on a weekday night and literally said quality time can be dinner and a kiss and see you later. Am I wrong to be offended? He means dinner at home, not a restaurant. So I said no. I told him we haven't spent enough quality time to make me comfortable with squeezing in a weeknight snuggle. By the way, guys, I want you guys to also answer your own 2 cents in the chat. So it's not just me giving my opinion, because your opinions are also valuable as well. Okay. So she said squeezing in a weekend snuggle, as he put in. I don't want to be the fun girl. I'm getting manipulated into being a Wednesday night hookup girl, or the option when it's raining because he works outside. He wants his weekends for fun with his friends and activities, and I'll be there when it's convenient. No, I want the whole evening experience or nothing at all. It's literally the bare minimum, and I can't even do that. He didn't like I said no and gave me all kinds of resistance. Am I being difficult and disagreeable? If he's busy every weekend, that's great for him. I'm happy for him. He just won't ever see me. I sound like a plan B. I can't undo the mistake of giving up pineapples, and he will probably disappear, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather be single and alone if this is what I get from him. Okay, great question, Holly. Lonely in the TikTok chat says, what does pineapples mean? Please, the rest of the chat, I can't say it out on the stream, but please, the rest of the chat, let her know what pineapples means. Okay, if you're new here, you probably don't know. The rest of the chat will tell you. So Holly, this is a great question, and this is quite a situation that you're in. So my advice to you is, as it relates to this guy, you said that he's been doing pursuing, so that's good. So I think that there has to be some sort of level of interest there, assuming he was actually genuine about this like cooking dinner, the drinks, music. You said good conversation, so I'm assuming it went deeper than just surface level, really connecting. If this is all true, like, this doesn't sound like someone who's completely just trying to play you. However, I think you're right in the sense that this squeezing in a weeknight snuggle, if he's really talking about just hooking up, right? It does begin to sound like, you know, he wants you to be the Wednesday night hookup girl, and then the weekends he gets to go out to the club with his boys and have real fun with some other girls, which is not good. You also don't want to get into the habit of trying to force a man to respect you, or force a man to want to spend more time with you or anything like that. What you can say, okay, this will be my advice to you, Holly. What you can do is present your schedule as if now the only time you really have time to see him is in the weekend. Okay? Because what that's going to do is it's going to force him to make a decision. Either he sees you on the weekend or he doesn't see you at all. Okay? And you can do it in a way that doesn't seem offensive or rude. You can do it in a way where you say, I really do love spending time with you. I enjoy us spending quality time together and having fun and enjoying each other's company. But my weekdays are now so busy. Even if you have to make up something, I got this going on and I got that going on. I really can't do weekends or else I won't get good sleep or anything like that, whatever it may be. And you make an excuse for why weekdays aren't going to work for you. But because your weekdays are so packed, your weekends are a lot more fluid and easygoing and relaxed. And so if he does want to spend some good time with you, if he does miss you, if he does enjoy you guys connecting, then he can let you know when he has a weekend free that he would want to spend time with you. And then from there, you leave it up to him to decide, am I going to adjust my schedule to see her on weekends? Or am I going to just abandon this girl this relationship in general, because I know I only want to see her on the weekdays. And that is the best approach, I think, because you force him to make a decision for himself. And whatever decision he does choose to make is because he wanted to make that decision. And it's good for both of you because you now know that he made that decision from his own volition because he wanted to make that decision. You also know that if he chooses to not see you and on the weekends where he's actually free, he just wants to do something else, you know that he wasn't interested enough in you that he would give up having fun on the weekends for being with you. Because if having fun on the weekends is more important than being with you, then that should tell you he doesn't consider it to be fun to spend a weekend with you, which tells you that he's not really that interested in you, which tells you that he's probably just using you for Squirtle and to be a Wednesday night hookup girl. Okay? Right? Right? As Becca says, what if she's now just a weekend girl? Well, that's the thing. You can't necessarily know that in this situation right now, but you'll know if his interest is only in being a simple, easy hookup, because he's trying to talk about, just kind of seeing each other for an hour. We eat dinner. Basically, we have pineapples and then I'm on my way. And she doesn't want that. She wants the quality time, the conversation, the whole evening, the dinner, the drinks, right? Having a good, enjoyable time, right? Together. And that can only happen really on the weekends, not for an hour on the weekdays. And so if he's only going to be invested in this hour on the weekdays, then she has to make that not an option for her, right? And present it as if the only time you can see me is these weekends, not for an hour, but for a real amount of time. And then if he doesn't choose to see you on the weekends, right, then now you know that he probably wasn't that interested in you enough because he didn't feel the need to spend time with you on a weekend where he could be doing something else. And then you kind of have your answer right then and there. So if you think that's being disagreeable, then yeah, you kind of have to be disagreeable, right? You don't even have to resist it, really. All you have to say is, look, I would love to spend time with you. I literally cannot. It's outside of my control. I can't spend time with you on the weekday. So if you want to spend time, we can do it on the weekends. But also, if you want to only spend an hour with me and then go out, truthfully, I don't that's a waste of my time, right? And you can be upfront while still telling him that you would love to spend time with him. So there's a balance there. I think that's my advice to you. Okay, that was Holly's. This one was deleted. Okay, so Mikaru, I think it says Michiru says, "Hi Tom, I need advice on Sarah B says, where is the site? It's Discord. So you go to the link in my TikTok, or you go, if you're on YouTube, you go down on my in the link in the description. Okay, it's my personal Discord for everyone. There's like 150 people in this Discord. She says, hi Tom, I need an advice, please. Okay. Mitchell says, I'm 33 and my boyfriend is 37. We've met on a dating app a year ago. Half a year doing good. We already talked deep conversation and addressed questions for early stages of the relationship. For early stages in the relationship. But it started when we reached 7 to 8 months of dating. He started to climb a ladder up at his work, and now he's always busy. And he kind of scheduled our video chats once a week. He's a government employee, and maybe he's really that busy. And I understand, but we are in a long distance relationship, and we've been dating for a year now, right? And I feel like I'm being neglected, and told him that I'm an anxious person. I always cried and poured out myself to him, told him how I hate this kind of situation. He said he will make it better, but still same reason and same 1 week schedule video chats. We barely even talk. As of today, I'm being quiet and not replying to any of his messages after I drop that long message of choosing myself this time. What do you think of our situation? And advice would be great. Thanks in advance. Okay. Michiru, this is a good question. My advice to you, obviously, him being a government employee, is tough because he probably does have actually a lot to do in the day. And he probably is a pretty busy guy. I don't deny that. Now, here's the problem with long distance relationships is if both parties aren't putting in as much effort as they possibly can into the relationship and trying to make it work, it becomes very painful very easily. And there's no way to alleviate that pain, obviously, because you can't see each other in person. I think that in your situation, I think you need to allow him to come into his own realization of whether or not he wants and desires this relationship and whether he wants to make it work. Because right now, as it stands, you're doing the job for him of trying to get him to choose the relationship as a priority. And I think that I don't think that necessarily giving up is what I'm trying to say, but I think that you have to allow men in general, but I think that you have to allow him to decide for himself that I want to choose this relationship because I know that I want and desire her. Okay? Because right now it seems like you've been trying, you're frustrated, obviously. And in the process of you reaching out to him, complaining and all this stuff, you're trying to show him and convince him how he should care about you and this relationship. In reality, that's never actually going to make someone care about the relationship. Okay? The only thing that will make him care about the relationship is coming to his own realization. And it's funny because this kind of applies to what we're talking about today. The only way for that to happen is if he's actually thinking about you and missing you himself. And he can only miss you when he has some space away from you where he doesn't hear from you and he realizes all the feelings and emotions and good parts about being with you that he no longer gets now because he's not with you. Okay? And so I think that you're on the right track in terms of being quiet and not replying to any of his messages after you drop that message, right? Because I think that's the way to go. Now, in the process of this, you actually need to give him some anxiety that he might have lost you by his actions. So even when he begins reaching out to you more, I actually want you to continue not replying to his messages until you really see that he's becoming desperate. Right? And I mean desperate, calling you all the time, texting you all the time, begging for you to speak to him, begging for you to give him a chance, right? That's the only time where I would come back around. And basically, when you come back around, you have to basically say, all right, show me that you deserve a chance. And you have to literally flip the script on him and leave it up to him to do somersaults and backflips for you, that he will show you that he actually can take this relationship seriously. Don't give him any advice. Don't tell him what to do better. Don't tell him how he should do it. Just tell him, okay, if you're begging for me, if you're desperate, if you want to be with me so bad, show me that. Show me what you got. Okay? This is your audition. Show me what you got. And let's see what he comes up with. If what he does is not impressive to you and he doesn't actually make a change, then walk away. But if he really is interested in you and interested in the relationship, he'll start doing backflips and he'll start trying to prove to you that he can be your guy. Okay? Very good. Very good. Okay. What time is it? Let's do a few more here. We've been on live for very long. See, we got a lot to get to. Don't worry, we got all week to get to these guys, so don't you worry. Okay. Cali Bear, I think this is one that we did yesterday, or that was Cali Bear. This is Cali Star. Men who are still in contact with their ex. Oh, this should be interesting. I'm interested on this guy, I think you meant to say, whom I've met on a dating app. He seems genuine and he is looking for a relationship and stated that on the app. However, I was taken aback after knowing that he still follows his ex on social media. Why do men do this? And what should I do about this? I'm really interested in him. Okay, Cali Star, my advice to you, right? Anytime a guy is, I don't want to cast any actions on him that he might not have committed. But if a guy's following his ex still on social media, that can be a red flag. Doesn't necessarily mean bad things, but that can be a red flag. Okay? Now, you need to ask more questions though. So him following his ex is not enough of a red flag for you to say that that means that he's still in a relationship with her or still has an ongoing thing with her. You need to, if you do meet up with this guy, hopefully you're not doing all of this chatting over text. You probably are if it's a dating app. You need to, when you meet him in person or talk to him over the phone, you need to get a very clear understanding of where he stands in his relationship, why it ended, and what's going on with him and his ex currently. You need to have answers to all of those questions, and you can do that in a slick way. It doesn't require you to interrogate him, right? But there's a difference between being in contact with his ex and following his ex on social media, because he can be following her without ever messaging her, right? Now, I'm not saying that he's not. It's possible that he is, but there's a difference. You need to be clear on where he stands with her and what their relationship is, and if they are in a position where they work together, they still see each other, they still come across each other, any of those types of things, okay? And that's the only way you can really know what is the next step here, because you can't make that determination solely based on the fact he still follows her. You get what I'm saying? So you need to be asking questions so you can get an understanding of the context of why he might be following her or what their situation might still be. You understand what I'm saying? And then once you get that information, make your decision on whether or not you think he's still emotionally available or still invested in his ex. You understand what I'm saying? Now, your question of why do men do this? Like I say, he could be following his ex for many different reasons. Maybe they still work together. Maybe they're part of a friend group. I don't know, right? Now, I will say, right, when usually if you break up with someone, you would at least unfollow them, but not all the time. And I can't speak for everyone in every situation, because it doesn't necessarily mean that he's actively having conversation with her just because he follows her. Okay. So that's all we'll do for today, just because we're so over on time. Don't worry. If I didn't get to your question today, I will get to it tomorrow or in this week, right? We got lots of time to answer all of these amazing, beautiful questions that you guys send into the Discord. Okay. So if you guys just want to follow me on Instagram and you want to see everything I'm doing, you want to know everything that I'm about, everything that I got going on, you can go follow me on Instagram. It's right above my head. On TikTok right there, it's on the left side of your screen, right by the Instagram thing, and then it's on the bottom right of your screen on YouTube. If you want to rewatch this live show in its entirety because you love it so much and you're like, this is the most amazing thing ever and I can't believe this existed and I just found out about it now, you can head to my YouTube if you're on TikTok, and you can find my YouTube, which is right above my head, right on the right next to that YouTube button. Screenshot that or just type in my name on YouTube and you'll be able to find my channel and watch this entire live stream. Just go to the live stream section and you'll be able to watch this entire live stream in its entirety with the TikTok chat embedded on one side of the screen and the YouTube chat embedded on the other side. So you'll be able to see all the conversations, all the context. It's so cool. So awesome. Okay. I will see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. Remember, I'm here every weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. So I will be back on talk to you about love, life, and relationships at 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Okay. Until then, I will see you guys later. I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of the Players Club. I will speak to you right on time at 4 p.m. Eastern exactly tomorrow. Okay.